Ever felt too shy to speak in English? Join Shylock's journey from a nervous beginner to a confident English speaker and discover how he overcame his fears to speak fluently. Hi there, I am Shylock, a young man living in a small, peaceful village surrounded by green fields and friendly neighbors. My village is beautiful, but I always dreamed of something bigger. You see, I have a big dream. I want to learn English fluently so I can get a great job and travel the world. I want to talk to people from other countries, visit exciting places, and feel confident wherever I go. But there was a problem. My English wasn't good. I only knew a few words like hello and thank you. Every time I tried to speak, I felt my face turning red and my words would get stuck. I was so nervous in front of people that I avoided talking altogether. One quiet evening, I was sitting at home, scrolling through videos on my phone. Suddenly, a title caught my eye. From Beginner to Pro, 5 Steps to English Fluency. The video was colorful and exciting. The person in the video spoke so confidently in English, and I thought, wow, maybe I can do this too. That moment changed everything for me. I felt a spark of hope in my heart. The idea of speaking English confidently, without fear, gave me the courage to try. From that day on, I promised myself, Shylock, no matter how hard it is, you can do this. This was the start of my journey to becoming fluent in English. I was nervous and unsure, but I was also excited about where these 5 steps would take me. And guess what? You can join me in this story and learn how I did it. Let me tell you more. Step 1. Build a strong foundation. When I began learning English, I knew I had to start small and simple. I decided to focus on the basics first. This meant learning new words and understanding simple grammar rules. Here's how I made it happen. Learning basic vocabulary. I realized that knowing words is like having tools in a toolbox. Without them, you can't build anything. So every day, I spent time learning common English words like cat, dog, house, and tree. I made it fun by using a free app called Duolingo. It showed me pictures of things, and I matched them to words. Practicing simple sentences. Once I learned some words, I started forming sentences. I learned to introduce myself. I am Shylock. I live in a small village. It felt great to say full sentences instead of just single words. Making learning fun. Learning doesn't have to be boring. To enjoy it more, I listened to children's songs in English. My favorite was Old MacDonald Had a Farm. I loved singing along. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-O. The song made learning words like cow, duck, and pig easy and exciting. Building confidence. At first, I only knew how to say hello. But after practicing every day, I started saying more. Instead of just hello, I learned to say, hello, how are you? It made me feel proud when people responded, and it showed me that I could actually use what I was learning. My progress. Day by day, I felt my confidence grow. I wasn't just repeating words. I was communicating. This step helped me feel ready to move on to bigger challenges. By starting with a strong foundation, I learned the basics of English and built the confidence to speak it. If I can do it, so can you. Step 2. Immerse yourself in English. When I wanted to get better at English, I realized that I needed to make it a part of my everyday life. It wasn't enough to just learn from books or apps. I had to surround myself with English so I could hear, see, and even think in it all the time. Here's how I did it. 1. Changing my phone's language to English. The first thing I did was change the language on my phone to English. At first, it felt strange because I wasn't used to seeing words like settings or notifications. But over time, I started recognizing these words and learning what they meant. For example, instead of seeing gallery, I saw photos. Instead of messages, I saw text. This small change helped me learn many new words every day without even trying too hard. 2. Watching simple English TV shows. I began watching TV shows meant for kids like Peppa Pig. They used easy words and short sentences, which were perfect for me. For example, in one episode, Peppa says, "I love jumping in muddy puddles." I repeated the line after her, trying to match her voice and tone. I would pause the show, say the sentence out loud, and then play it again to check if I got it right. It felt like I was learning and having fun at the same time. 3. Labeling items around my house. To learn the names of everyday things, I used sticky notes. I wrote the English word for each item and stuck it on the object. For example, I wrote table and stuck it on the dining table. I wrote mirror and placed it on the bathroom mirror. Every time I walked past these things, I would read the words. This helped me remember them better. It was like turning my house into a classroom. 4. Joining an English-speaking group. The scariest thing I did was join a local group where people practice speaking English. I was so nervous because I thought everyone would laugh at my mistakes. When it was my turn to speak, I said, "Hello, my name is Shylock. I am learning English." I made mistakes, but the group was so kind. They smiled and clapped, saying, "Good job." That made me feel confident. After that, I started going to the group regularly. Each time, I got better at speaking and less afraid of making mistakes. Step 3. Practice speaking daily. When I realized that practice was the key to becoming fluent, I decided to start speaking English every day, no matter how hard it felt. At first, I was shy, but I knew I had to try. Talking to myself. I stood in front of the mirror in my room. It was just me, my reflection, and my words. I pretended I was giving a speech to a big crowd. I said things like, "Hello, my name is Shylock. How are you today? I'm learning English and I love it." At first, it felt a little funny to talk to myself, but the more I did it, the more confident I became. The mirror didn't laugh at me, and it helped me see how I looked when I spoke. Talking to my dog, Bruno. Bruno, my loyal dog, became my best English practice partner. I talked to him every day. "Bruno, do you want food? Come here, Bruno. Let's go for a walk." Bruno didn't understand all my words, but he wagged his tail and listened patiently. It made me feel good to practice with him because he never judged me when I made mistakes. Talking to villagers. Then I decided to take small steps and talk to people in my village. I started with simple words like, "Good morning. How are you?" At first, I was nervous and sometimes I said things wrong like "I is Shylock" instead of "I am Shylock." Some people laughed, but I smiled and tried again. I told myself, mistakes are okay. They help me learning from mistakes. Every time I made a mistake, I wrote it down in my notebook. I practiced the correct way at home until I got it right. Slowly, I stopped feeling afraid of speaking English. What I learned, practicing every day, even with small steps, helped me get better. Talking to myself, my dog, and the villagers gave me the courage to keep going. Now, I can say, practice makes perfect. Step 4. Learn from mistakes. One day, I made a mistake. I remember a day when I tried to talk to a tourist. I was so excited to practice my English, but I said something wrong. I asked, "Can I help use?" instead of saying, Can I help you? The tourist smiled kindly and corrected me. At first, I felt embarrassed, but then I realized mistakes are part of learning. I decided to learn from it instead of feeling bad. My special vocabulary journal. After that day, I started keeping a small notebook with me, a vocabulary journal. This notebook became my best friend in learning English. I would write down 3 types of things. 1. New words I learn. For example, when I heard the word beautiful, I wrote it down with its meaning. Very pretty. 2 phrases I hear. Once I heard someone say, "Have a great day." I liked it, so I wrote it in my journal. 3. My mistakes and corrections. Whenever I made a mistake, like saying use, I wrote it down with the correct version. Practicing makes me confident. At night, before going to bed, I would open my journal and practice. I whispered the sentences to myself. I would say, "Can I help you?" several times until it sounded natural. It was like talking to an invisible friend. Why mistakes are helpful. I learned that mistakes aren't bad. They are like little teachers. Each mistake I made helped me improve my English. Every time I corrected myself, I felt more confident to speak again. What you can do. If you're learning something new, don't be scared of mistakes. Keep a journal like I did. Write down words, phrases, and your corrections. Practice them every day. Trust me, it works. You'll see yourself getting better and better, just like I did. Step 5. Push yourself out of comfort zones. Giving a speech at the village festival. I remember the day I decided to give my first speech in English. It was the village's annual festival, and I wanted to share my journey of learning English. When my name was called, my hands were shaking, and my heart was beating so fast I thought everyone could hear it. As I stepped onto the stage, I looked at the crowd and took a deep breath. I smiled and began my speech. Hello, everyone. I am Shylock. I am learning English. Thank you for listening. It was a short and simple speech, but I could see the smiles on people's faces. When they clapped and cheered, I felt like I had achieved something amazing. That moment gave me the confidence to keep improving. Writing emails to a pen pal. After the festival, I thought about more ways to practice English. That's when I decided to write emails in English. I found a pen pal from another country who also wanted to practice English. In my first email, I introduced myself. Hello, my name is Shylock. I live in a small village. I am learning English. What about you? My pen pal replied and told me about their life and culture. I learned so many new words and phrases through our conversations. For example, I learned how to write sentences like, "I enjoy reading books. Tell me more about your family." Writing emails helped me improve my grammar and vocabulary. Every time my pen pal replied, I would check the words I didn't know and write them in my notebook. Feeling proud and motivated. Pushing myself to speak in public and write to someone in English felt scary at first. But with each step, I gained more confidence. Now, I feel proud because I can express myself better in English. These experiences showed me that trying new things, even when they feel uncomfortable, is the best way to grow and learn. If I can do it, so can you. All it takes is a little courage to step out of your comfort zone. After months of dedication, Shylock becomes fluent in English. I want you to imagine how proud Shylock felt after all his hard work. He had spent many months practicing English every single day. He read books, watched videos, and even talked to his dog to practice. Slowly but surely, The words that felt difficult before started to feel natural. Now, Shylock could speak English fluently, and it felt like he had unlocked a new superpower. He can confidently speak to tourists, write letters, and even host village events in English. Shylock's confidence grew so much that he could easily start a conversation with tourists who visited his village. He would say things like, "Hello, where are you from?" and help them find their way around. Writing letters, which once felt scary, now became something he enjoyed. He even started helping others in his village by hosting events where he spoke in English to everyone. People admired how brave and skilled he had become. One day, he receives a job offer as a tour guide for international visitors. One bright morning, Shylock received exciting news. A company had noticed his amazing English skills and offered him a job as a tour guide. This meant he could show people from different countries the beauty of his village while speaking in English. Shylock was thrilled because it was his dream to use English to connect with people from around the world. Standing in front of a group of travelers, he proudly says, "Welcome to our beautiful village. My name is Shylock, and I will be your guide today." Shylock's big moment finally arrived. A group of travelers from different countries gathered in his village. Standing in front of them, Shylock felt a little nervous at first, but then he took a deep breath and confidently spoke in English. He said, "Welcome to our beautiful village. My name is Shylock, and I will be your guide today." Everyone clapped and smiled. Shylock knew he had achieved something amazing, and he couldn't have done it without his hard work and determination. Shylock's journey shows that with dedication and practice, anyone can achieve their goals. Even if something feels hard at first, like learning English, it can become easier and fun when you never give up. If you enjoyed Shylock's inspiring story, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and leave a comment about your own language learning journey. Don't forget to subscribe for more motivational stories and helpful tips to become fluent in English.